Yes, no, guys, welcome back to the Tarantula YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be rehousing a few tarantulas. I think I'm going to do 4, maybe 5. I don't know whether it will be in one video or I'll split it up into 2. Not too sure yet, but depends how long this video lasts. I don't want it to last too long. But I'm going to be rehousing my Gerenesis, suntigers, 2 of them, and my Dominican purple tarantula, and maybe my giant whitey as well. I don't know about another one. Might just leave him a bit. I was supposed to have 3 of these. No, I ordered 5. 1 came broken, so I've ended up with 4. So I'm gonna need to get another one eventually. I'm gonna just show you. I'm not gonna show you me doing up all these enclosures. I'm gonna keep it fairly basic, just substrate and some moss and some cork bark. Fairly simple. Hopefully it will look decent. I want it to, but I don't want to get too carried away because they just end up ruining it all anyway, to be honest with you. So I'll show you like 1 or 2 of me doing it up, and then sort of then rehouse them. It's going to be quite fun. I've got it all on my desk just because I'd rather have it higher up and then sort of go up than go down and go under things and stuff. That's my thinking. Hopefully that none of that happens, but I shall see. So let me get the substrate open. But as these tarantulas are getting bigger, I sort of see that's over half the packet gone already on one. So, and we don't want to get too carried away with the substrate. They don't honestly tend to borrow arboreals, so just generous amount. Again, don't want to get too far. And then got some cork bark here. I'm just gonna chuck that in, pat it down. The only trouble is there's not enough room to pat it all. Just wet it down a little bit. Would help if this thing worked properly. Obviously, you don't want to make it too wet, but just something to give it a little bit. I think that's fine. It's not going anywhere, at least. And then I have ordered. Let's get that out of the way. I've ordered some lovely. Can I turn off this? Is that what the reflection is? That didn't help at all. Ordered some lovely chunks of moss here. Lovely and green, look at that. And that's just going to go sort of at the front. I'm going to make it really pop. And also it's good to keep in the moisture as well. Because for me now, I tend to not worry about water dishes in my enclosures because they just end up tipping them up or moving them, and they don't really drink out of them. If I spray down the enclosure, they tend to just go for that instead. So I want to make sure it's sort of in the soil a bit, looking all nice. I think that looks pretty good to me. Parts of it are just sort of missing, but it doesn't need to be too perfect. These moss chunks aren't exactly the cheapest either. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do the rest of my enclosures like, and we'll see how it ends up, and then I shall get back to you when I have finished all of them. Might not do all of them, but I'll see how far it goes. Right, so now on to my next enclosure, which is this acrylic one. I think this one's 30 by 20, and then my other ones which I just done were 30 by 20, but obviously upwards, so it'd be like this. So yeah, pretty decent sizes. That's all I need until they sort of grow again. But I think this should be good for a long while, really, because they only need like sort of three times the size, roughly, space wise. So this will be fine. I think I am gonna need like a whole one of these for this. By the looks of it. So the time I pat it down, yeah, it's gonna be quite in there. And that's 3 litres. I was expecting it to be more, and I sort of overpaid for this because I got it same day delivery. But in my head, I was like, oh yeah, 2 3-litre things would do perfectly fine. I know how 3 litres is. It's not that much, but in my head, it was a lot. But yeah, so literally just use a whole one of them. Obviously got 2 more to do. I might see if my other soil was ready, but I don't think it is. Yes, it's still way too wet. So I think I'll do 2 videos. I'll do 3 sort of today, and then I'll do the rest like another day, maybe tomorrow, because I've got 2 more of these, but I might order another one of the other ones and sort of do 3 in one video and 3 in another. I feel like that makes sense, but I don't know, I'm sort of impatient. I like to do things. I don't know, my brain, it's how my brain works, really. Give it a little skull in the corner, that. But put it poking out the ground. And to give it a water dish. Put them in the same place. It'll probably cover up the water dish. I've put a water dish and it's like a big water dish in its enclosure now, and all it's done is literally put substrate all over the water dish and like buried it. So that's why I don't really tend to use the water dishes too much, although most of the enclosures do have them in, just because they end up just doing that to them and have to move them back, dig them up. It's just sort of like hassle, and there's no point of filling up the water dish if they're not going to use it. But I think this will do for my Dominican purple. It's got a lot of space. Doesn't need any sort of like burrowing sort of stuff for the time being. Just want to sort of get it in a somewhat bigger enclosure because it's probably a bit smaller than this. So yeah, just sort of get it in there. I was thinking they were going to be a bit slightly bigger, but I know that's how my brain works, I guess. I will give it some moss as well to give it some aesthetic. Grab the leftovers of this stuff. May as well chuck it all in. leave a smaller bit in there. So sort of don't want to. I want it to have like a little corner maybe, but not like anything too much. Maybe I'll put it. Maybe I'll put the skull and stuff over this side. So I'll have the skull in the moss. And have the water dish sort of there as well. I do have these little mushrooms as well. I feel like they make it look pretty cool, but I'll probably just end up digging it up anyway. So little mushrooms in there. That looks pretty cool. It's not looking perfect, but it's probably going to just destroy it anyway. But yeah, I like that. Yeah. Oh, I think I'll leave the other enclosures because I've got to wait for the soil to sort of dry out a bit and sort of mix it about. Can't really do it in here. Although I've made a mess already and I do need to tidy my room and hoover and shit. So, but I will now rehouse them. What I do is I will wet the moss a little bit. Don't want to completely drown it. That water dish, I feel like it's just taking all the water. Let's have a look. Might be alright. These water dishes are terrible, to be honest. I got them for my smaller tarantulas and they just tend to soak up the water real quick. With some of them. So I don't see the point in a water dish if it soaks it up, but there you go. No, I don't know how his temperament's going to be, but you can see him there. You see he's quite big for the enclosure. Obviously, size-wise, it's only a bit bigger, but you've got a bit more. You've got a bit more room there. I'm hoping his temperament's going to be okay. But we shall see. I don't know how this is going to work, to be honest. I do have this, but that's way too small for this guy. There he is. Wow. Now that was a rehouse and a half. His temperament was actually insane. Like his temperament was, he's usually quite aggressive, but I think because he ate earlier, he's sort of, not so bad. But a lovely rehouse. Oh, don't want to speak too soon. Oh, come on, buddy. Good boy. Right, let me give you a better angle of him. So there he is, lovely Dominican purple in his new home. Lovely purple colour on him. Look at that. And yeah, that's its home. Right, so there we have it, my Dominican purple tarantula rehoused, looking all nice. Try and get this lid on. No. Lid's a bit stiff going on. I think that's fine now. Just needs a bit of WD-40. But what I'll do is I'll use my other enclosure that this was in to then rehouse a couple of my smaller ones. I think my salmon pink bird eaters, they need to be rehoused fairly ASAP, so that'll be a perfect upgrade for them as they have a little bit more room. And then I can I've got so many enclosures now, like I've got left over that I need to do something with, really. But I see, I'm getting a bit out of hand with these tarantulas. Like, I don't have much more room, to be honest. And obviously they grow. It's alright when they're younger, but once they start to grow, it's like a bit more awkward, as you need big enclosures, sometimes even bigger than this. So, yeah. So, on to the next ones. So, I've done this one a bit different because I didn't have a thicker bit of cork bark. I sort of put two in there, put this one at an angle. Obviously, done the moss, sort of looks nice, gives it a bit of colour, but again, still fairly basic. I'll wet the moss again. I don't feel like it's worth putting a water dish in, because usually I just water the sides, and you sort of just go for that anyway. So I don't know whether it's worth it too much, but I'm gonna go with. I go with my Adrianesis. Obviously, I've got two sun tigers, so it gives you a bit of a variety. And so I rehouse my Adrenasis and one of my sun tigers tonight, and then I'll rehouse the rest in another video just to keep it sort of somewhat short. Obviously, 5, 6, 7 tarantulas to rehouse is quite a lot, so yeah, let's get my Adrenasis and see if she's gonna be nice to me. Have my safety cup ready. She has been acting a little weird, to be honest, but there she is, a little pink toes. She really needs rehousing, so what I do, she might be alright to just sort of go in here and I can put that in. There we are. Acting all nice to me. She has recently just molted, so her abdomen is quite small, but she is still quite big. Shame she's gone right round to the back. Try and give you a better angle. There we have her in there, looking all pretty. You can see her little pink toes. Again, she really needed rehousing as she's quite big. Love the colours on her though. Lovely pink, sort of greyish, reddish sort of colour. But yeah. This is where it gets real interesting because these sun tigers are rapid and they're hit or miss. The Dominican purple I thought was going to be worse than it was, so but we shall find out as these can be hit or miss, and I don't really see them out too much, so which is a bit annoying, but there is literally 3 crickets in there, so it might be, I mean, cockroaches, so unfortunately when I was rehousing my sun tiger, turns out that it has died. I don't know how, as like a week ago when I watered the enclosure, it was out, obviously sucking up the water and stuff like that, which is a bit strange. So it's happened within the week. I don't know how. Like there was a few roaches in there um, from when previously feeding. Unless they done something to the tarantula, I don't know. Um, but his abdomen wasn't big or anything like that. It had recently-ish just molted, so it wasn't going into molt or anything like that. Um, it might have just been ill. I don't know. Can't really tell with these things, and it's just unfortunate. Um, I was going to show you, but it's not exactly the best sight, and not everyone wants to see a dead spider. So yeah, I won't be rehousing that one, obviously. And I'll try and rehouse my other one. Hopefully that one's fine and active. Um, but yeah, just unfortunate, really. But these things do happen. Unfortunately, I've had a few tarantulas die recently. Mostly sort of slings, but slings are hit and miss, really. It's a risk you sort of have to take with slings. But we shall see, and hopefully this next one will be fine. No, I don't know what's going on with this one. I did feed them earlier. Hasn't ate the roach yet, so I will try and missed it. Never mind. This one is alive, which is always a good sign. Again, another sort of big tarantula. Definitely needs rehousing. She is acting quite friendly for the time being, which is nice. I have had these since slings, and they have grown up very well. There we are. Again, they're quite big for this enclosure at the moment, but they will grow into it very, very well. I do want to get you a close-up shot, if I can. Right, let's give you a little close-up shot of her. She's a bit scared right now, don't know what's going on. Sort of like scrunched up. But again, this one just recently molted like the other sun tiger. Look at the bright orange colours on her. Ooh, it's almost like sort of red. But yeah, she is quite sort of big for this, quite small for this enclosure. But she'll grow into it very well and she'll love it. But yeah. So, there we have it. All the tarantulas rehoused for now. I will rehouse more, but I have to wait for some more substrate, which I've got sort of drying out a bit. That will take probably about 24 hours, if not more. And I can rehouse the other ones. I will do that in a separate video, as this video is probably already getting on quite long. Time I cut up and stuff like that. I've definitely been recording over an hour, but a lot of stuff has happened in this video that I wasn't expecting. Unfortunately, the tarantula died. But again, these things happen, and hopefully this one will be fine. I've got like this sun tiger, I've got another one, and another one. I've got 3 sun tigers, so I'm fine on the sun tigers, but it's just a shame, really. I was thinking that there wasn't movement when I was sort of going through the enclosure trying to find it. Usually they sort of move, obviously, but they're usually sort of like they're sort of quite calm, but and try and like hide. But they obviously move when trying to find a nice hiding spot when you're going in the enclosure. So yeah. Nonetheless, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the enclosures. Do you think I need to add some more stuff or so forth? But yeah, appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.